Hey warrior, let me ask you something that cuts deep. What do you do when the pain never leaves? Not the pain of losing a job or an argument with someone you love, but the kind of pain that lingers in your body day after day, night after night. The kind of pain that feels like a shadow, always present, always there when you wake, when you sleep, when you dream. Chronic illness. If you've ever lived with it, you know this isn't just about physical suffering. It's about the emotional war that follows, the frustration of being misunderstood, the exhaustion of explaining what others can't see, the loneliness of watching life move on while you're forced to pause. And yet, the ancient Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, men who lived through plague, injury, slavery, and constant hardship, left behind wisdom that speaks directly to this struggle. They taught us that while we cannot always choose our suffering, we can always choose our response. Today, I want to share with you 5 Stoic secrets to survive chronic illness, 5 truths that can carry you through the storm, give you strength when life hurts most, and remind you that even in suffering, you are not powerless. Secret 1. Pain is endurable when given meaning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." Now that might sound harsh at first, but think about it. Complaining doesn't ease the pain, it magnifies it. When you give pain a purpose, it becomes fuel. Consider someone battling cancer who uses their fight to inspire others, or a person with a disability who mentors children facing the same path. Their pain doesn't vanish, but it transforms. The Stoic secret here is to anchor your suffering to a larger mission. Ask yourself, how can my struggle serve as an example of courage? How can this pain sharpen me into someone unbreakable? The truth is, pain loses some of its sting and it carries meaning. Secret 2. Distinguish between what hurts and what harms. Epictetus, a man who himself lived with a crippled body, reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. Chronic illness may hurt your body, but the real harm is when it poisons your mind with bitterness, envy, or despair. Imagine 2 people with the same condition. One isolates, resents life, and becomes consumed by anger. The other accepts their limitations, but invests energy in what they can control. Relationships, learning, gratitude, acts of kindness. The illness is the same, but the outcomes are worlds apart. Stoicism tells us, don't confuse hurt with harm. You may not escape the pain, but you can refuse to let it define your character. Your body may be weakened, but your spirit can remain undefeated. Secret 3. Practice the art of voluntary hardship. Seneca advised his students to occasionally live with less, to practice poverty, to sleep on the floor, to eat meager meals. Why? So when real hardship came, they were ready. Now you might ask, but isn't chronic illness already enough suffering? Yes, but here's the paradox. When you willingly practice small hardships, you gain a sense of control and resilience. Imagine someone with arthritis who chooses to take cold showers, or someone with a lung condition who practices daily meditation despite discomfort. These small acts don't worsen their suffering, they expand their tolerance for it. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." By exposing yourself to controlled difficulty, you discover that you can endure far more than you thought, and that endurance makes the involuntary suffering of illness feel a little less overwhelming. Secret 4. Live fully in the moments you are free. Chronic illness often chains you. It robs you of energy, mobility, or independence. But the Stoics remind us that time is always slipping away, illness or not. Marcus Aurelius told himself every morning, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." For someone battling illness, this reminder is not meant to depress but to awaken. You may not have the freedom of perfect health, but you do have the freedom of choice, the freedom of perspective, The freedom to savor the moments illness cannot touch. A warm conversation with a friend, a beautiful sunset, a single deep breath of gratitude. Too often, people in good health waste their days in trivial pursuits, scrolling endlessly, gossiping, drowning in complaints. But someone with illness can sometimes see life more clearly, because every small joy feels like victory. The Stoic secret here is this: even if illness steals your strength, don't let it steal your days. Live them fiercely, with presence, with appreciation. Life is not measured by how long we walk without pain, but how deeply we walk, even when it hurts. And here's a brutal truth. No one escapes suffering, not even the healthiest among us. Everyone eventually faces loss, decline, or death. Chronic illness just removes the illusion of invincibility sooner. And in that, strangely, there is a gift. You learn to value what truly matters, while others still sleepwalk through life. Stoicism says, let illness strip away illusions, but don't let it strip away your dignity. Secret 5. Redefine strength as endurance, not absence of pain. Modern society glorifies strength as physical dominance, power, or control. But Stoicism teaches a different kind of strength, the kind that thrives in suffering. Epictetus, enslaved and crippled, became one of the most powerful teachers in history. His strength wasn't in a body free from pain, it was in a mind free from despair. Strength for the chronically ill is not about being pain-free. It is about enduring with grace, refusing to let suffering make you bitter or cruel, choosing hope over hopelessness, and choosing purpose over despair. Marcus Aurelius, plagued with illness himself, ruled an empire with discipline and compassion. His strength wasn't that illness never touched him, but that illness never defeated him. And that is your challenge too. Don't wait for the absence of pain to call yourself strong. Call yourself strong because, despite the pain, you still rise. You still choose clarity over chaos, and you still embrace life in every way you can. Strength in chronic illness is also about perspective. It is about understanding that every flare, every limitation, every setback is not a punishment, but an opportunity. When you cannot walk, you can still reflect. When you cannot speak, you can still listen. When your body fails, your mind and spirit remain. The Stoics believe that true power lies in control of the self, not of circumstances. Pain may limit your movements, illness may restrict your freedom, but it can never dictate your character unless you allow it. By redefining strength in this way, you take back what was stolen from you. Not your health, not your abilities, but your mindset, your focus, your dignity. You reclaim what the world cannot touch, your soul, your resolve, your unbreakable spirit. And here is the ultimate truth. Chronic illness can feel isolating, humiliating, unfair. You may see others moving freely while you struggle to get out of bed. You may feel invisible, misunderstood, even forgotten. But this is exactly where the Stoic warrior is forged. Because in these quiet battles, when no one is watching, when every step forward feels like climbing a mountain, you learn who you really are. You learn that courage is not loud, it is persistent. That resilience is not flashy, it is patient. That freedom is not given, it is earned. One small victory, one silent choice, one uncomplaining breath at a time. Pain is the arena, endurance is the prize, and the Stoic mind is the weapon. Finally, remember this. Stoicism doesn't promise the absence of pain. It promises mastery over your mind and heart. It promises that no matter how heavy your body feels, you can rise above despair. You can transform suffering into strength, limitation into wisdom, and silence into clarity. When life tests you with chronic illness, do not ask for it to be easier. Instead, ask for the courage to face it fully. Let every setback sharpen your patience, every flare awaken your gratitude, and every limitation ignite your purpose. You are not defined by your illness. You are defined by how you live despite it. You are defined by your endurance, your courage, your dignity. And that endurance, that unshakable spirit, is a power no illness can take from you. So, warrior, the next time the pain feels unbearable, whisper to yourself, "This too is a test. This too I can endure." Not because it is easy, but because endurance itself is victory. Let your suffering become the forge that shapes you into someone unshakable. Let your illness become the place where your soul learns its deepest lessons. And let Stoicism remind you, your strength does not come from a life without pain, but from the courage to live fully despite it. That is how you survive chronic illness. That is how you thrive even when life hurts most. And that is how your silence, your stillness, your endurance becomes your ultimate superpower.